Roberto.
Hello.
So this is the beginning of a journey for you for some little self-improvement and growth.
With my sensei, Velton.
Yes. We're going to do a bunch of, we sell 4 different roasters, and you have taken on the learning and having fun with and all that jazz.
Yep.
Okay.
So far, so much fun.
So we're gonna start with the iRoast 2. So why don't you tell me what you know about this as far as it's just specs and features and stuff?
It's basically our entry level roaster, and that's kind of the route we're going to take, is kind of start from the beginning and work our way into kind of more programmable, more functionality type roasters. But for right now, we're looking at the iRoast 2, which is real nice and basic. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but if you're like just looking to start out and just kind of like wanting to experiment with home roast, I think this is a good machine.
Okay.
It's got a few things that I'm not crazy about. One thing when I was fiddling around with it earlier, once the roast is going, the only way to stop it is to unplug it. Like, there's no kill switch, so if the house is burning down and you're trying to turn this thing off, you got to run for that plug. Otherwise, you're still going to be roasting through.
Got it. Okay.
But all in all, it's got supposedly up to 10 programmable presets. The only ones I've really found out so far have been preset 1 and preset 2, but you can get into the programming a little bit and adjust those things. You can adjust temperature a little bit. Recommended temperature, which it comes default at, is around 450 degrees.
Okay.
And then roasting anywhere between like 10 to 12 minutes or so. And then what's nice is it has an auto cool down cycle that it will kick in at the end of the main roast.
Okay, so this is really kind of like a modified popcorn popper,
More
really.
or less,
yeah, because it's like kind of be a sort of like an air pop.
I have seen
situation.
People pop popcorn in these.
Oh my!
There's video evidence of that.
Cool.
But for all intents and purposes, it's a fun little machine to experiment with, and we'll give it a shot here and see how it goes.
Yeah, so this is sort of our first pass, obviously. So my goal is first to go through this whole series, and then at the end, like, we'll shoot a couple videos with your sort of learnings.
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, so our basic story that we're going to use each time is we've got green version of Belton's Bonsai Blend. So we're gonna roast that in each of them.
Yeah, we're gonna do a better job than Velton.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It wouldn't be hard. No. Just kidding, Felton. Okay. All right. So are we ready to rock?
Yeah. So, pretty easy to use. You just pop this guy off like that, right off the top there. Unscrew the lid here. And then you just pour your beans into there. The recommended dose is around 1 cup for this machine.
Oh, so okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh. Fun green beans.
So how much do we have left over here? Is that about half of it?
Yeah, about 2 cups in that bag. So
okay.
If I really screw this one up, we're still good with this.
Thank God.
Well, I guess I should pour this in here.
Now, one thing that I've heard, Velton told me this, and this may just be him trying to maintain his business, was that these don't, he had heard that like this model and a couple of other ones that we carry don't necessarily go hot enough to get to a super dark roast.
I've heard that, yep, there's that, and then the other thing that I had heard about this was excuse me, what they're going to want, what they recommend you do is really carefully actually watch the roast. Their settings, they even say on their website that it's not, it's recommended that you kind of sit and you'll watch the roast. So you'll be sitting here for probably about 10 to 12 minutes.
To see it in action.
Yeah, and then once you kind of see what you're looking for, then you're going to immediately start the cool cycle, which is just one push of a button.
Oh, okay. So you kind of, all right.
Yeah, like it'll automatically do that, kind of depending on the preset time on the presets. And then if you feel like when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, wait, actually, I'm thinking that roast is about where I want it. You can go ahead and cycle in the cool.
So Rob, I guess I'm not clear on the preset story. So
sure.
there's a base temp. Like, are your presets just a time duration, or are they temperature as well?
Time and temperature.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm not entirely sure. We haven't tested this machine too extensively yet to know kind of what sort of temperature variance there will be.
Okay.
It's kind of by default around 450 degrees. Though,
cool.
So.
All right. Well, I think we should just go, and I'll just kind of time lapse this maybe.
So we'll just do preset 1, and we'll hit the roast button.
Rob.
All right, so
We're in our little hot box here.
Smoked up the entire room, and it smells like burnt popcorn.
Yes, it does.
But all in all, we ended up cutting the cycle short a little bit because we noticed it actually got pretty dark and oily relatively quite a bit faster than I thought it was going to. So maybe if we adjusted the temperature a little bit, or decrease the time on the setting, that would probably be more ideal. But
so on the right here we have a batch from Velton, from the master himself.
And
if you want to pour your guy out.
Here goes our reveal of what ours is. Quite a bit oilier. But all in all, not terrible.
No.
Now, of course, we'll have to see once we, pull some shots with it. But, quite a bit darker, but it actually still looks very bearable.
Yeah, so we're going to let this hang out for a few days, and then we're going to pull some shots, or we're just going to, I don't know if we have enough to actually dial in a grinder, so we might just do a cupping of it, side by side with some from Velton's, and we'll see how it compares.
Yeah. But all in all, I was pretty happy with this guy. I mean, it's very easy to use, which is nice. One thing that I thought was cool that I discovered after using it is it captures all the, what are these things called again, Kat?
It's the chaff.
The chaff from the roast, so you don't end up with that in your bean, which is nice. So it's all just that air circulation blew it right up in the top, and then it stayed there, which is nice.
So let's give our stinkiness rating, because this is a home roaster, and so theoretically you could do this in your kitchen if you have people that don't have a high sense of smell, or B, they don't care, or C, live alone.
Yeah.
So let's say on a scale 1 to 10, we'll rate each of them. Where do you think this is on the stinkiness?
As far as, it's pretty overwhelming when we walked back in here. I'd put it probably around a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell bad. It just kind of smells like burnt popcorn, but...
Yeah, it's kind of intense, and there was some
we had a
smoke
issue. So keep the windows open, turn the fire alarm off.
Yeah, or do it in a garage.
In a garage would be great.
Yeah.
Just I'd keep ventilation because it definitely was overwhelming, and it'll probably be here for a couple days. So.
Yeah, I know. Yay us! We're back, and we're badder than ever.
Oh yeah, roasting pro.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 5 days later. Technically, this one on the left was roasted by Velton the day before we did our test, but we figured it would still be okay. And here's your handiwork, senor.
I don't know if you can see it as well as we can here, but it ended up a little bit oilier than I probably would have liked.
Definitely pretty shiny.
With that in mind, though, it grinded pretty well. It's definitely darker than Velton's.
Standard roast, yeah.
We're actually kind of impressed in a way, because we had the rumor was that grind, or the roaster that we were testing out, actually wouldn't be able to do a dark roast like this. So, honestly, had we cut it a little bit earlier, we probably would have been fine, but we let it go probably a little bit too long to give a medium roast. In the pink corner, we've got Velton, and in the white corner, we've got moi.
Rob!
So they actually, Steve, they actually look relatively similar. So we will find out here on the taste test what sort of story we've got with how bad I did my first try.
I got faith in you, Rob.
Let's see. Okay. All right.
All right, you're gonna take a sipperoo.
I am.
You gonna try yourself first?
No, yeah, let's go Velton. That's probably good.
Okay.
Maybe I'll come back to Velton to chase the flavor of mine away. Good as always.
Yes. The pretty standard.
Okay.
Okay.
Get my palate cleansed out a little bit here. I always forget to bring a thing of water. That's like rule number 1. But...
Spit.
All right, here we go. Definitely a different taste. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good, but I don't know if I would put it up there with Velton's. But for a small home roasting unit, not terrible.
How would you? What is the difference? Do you think?
It really doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't taste burnt at all, which is kind of what I thought. Maybe just not quite as full bodied. I'm not entirely sure what's missing, but
okay. Yeah, it's kind of missing a little bit of the chocolate.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe the darker roast you know?
Yeah, I think that probably is it. Probably cooked a little bit of the flavor out, which is pretty common if you over roast a bean. So
maybe some of the bringing the oils out.
Yeah.
You know, whereas
Yeah.
you would have captured more of it in here than that one.
Yeah. But not terrible. I mean, for a little home roaster, I'm actually pretty impressed. I mean, we'll see, you know, once we kind of go up a few levels with the roasters, you know, if it's able to compete a little bit more. But, you know, for being a, you know, relatively easy to use, something you can keep in your kitchen, not bad.
It was stinky.
It was.
I would recommend you do that in your garage.
The first, you know, few moments of it, we're all, oh, this isn't so bad.
What's everybody so cranky about? It tastes about like popcorn.
We took a step out and came back in for a meeting here in the comments room, and all of a sudden it was, oh!
I was like, you know what? I bet that Rob and I were hotboxing a bunch of carbon monoxide in here.
This smells delicious.
We could have died, Rob. Anyway, our next guy up for testing, we're going to do with a little better ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's the iRoast. So after the series, we'll kind of come back and do some comparison and things you liked and all that jazz.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thank you.